How's it going, guys? I'm your host, Splash. Welcome to my Week 2 quarterback power rankings. Before we start, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and ring that notification bell. I know the Ravens aren't ringing their Le'Veon bell, but you sure can ring your very own notification bell on YouTube. Just a little tap the button and make sure you're subscribed. Not subscribed, but make sure you're subscribed. But make sure you get notifications for all of our content. We go live a bunch. I'm going to try to do more of these like little not lives, but hey, it happens. So quarterback power rankings, 32-1 with every anticipated starter. Let me know in the comments who is too high, who is too low. Do you think I'm a moron for saying Patrick Mahomes is where he is? Do you think I'm a moron for saying where Lamar Jackson is? I am a Ravens fan. I don't know. But yeah, make sure you let me know who's too high, who's too low. And let's get it started with QB 32. It is the man, the myth, the legend. I'm a member of his fan club. Jacob Eason, his first NFL start is coming week 3, likely coming week 3. It's not a guarantee. I think he will start. Wentz is currently injured. So I think he starts. I'm not 100% sure. He's number 32. Is it fair? Maybe, maybe not. 2 for 5, 15 yards, no touchdowns. Did throw a game-ending interception. I think Jalen Ramsey. 8.3 pass rating. And PFF, not much better. Sub 30 grade, 31.5 passing grade, and then 1 turnover where he played, no big-time throws. It was a rough day at the office for Jacob Eason. I hope he bounces back. I am a big fan. I think the Colts can win some games with Eason if he has to play. And I think, actually, I'll use this time to talk about it. Jacob Eason starting for the Colts might be a blessing in disguise because they know he's Jacob Eason, right? Carson Wentz still thinks he's 2017 Carson Wentz and thinks he's going to go do elite quarterback things. I don't think he can do that anymore. So he tries to play like an elite quarterback when he's not. Eason knows he's not an elite quarterback. The Colts coaching staff knows he's not an elite quarterback, so they're not going to ask him to do elite quarterback things. They're just going to ask him to do a couple things here or there and manage the game, pump the brakes a little bit. And I think that can win some games. Is it going to beat the Titans on Sunday? I don't know, but who knows? Number 31, we have another quarterback make his NFL debut. This one is confirmed. Davis Mills will be the starting quarterback on Thursday Night Football against the Carolina Panthers. Hey, you're making your home debut. That's pretty exciting. Last week, he was 8 for 18, 102 yards, touchdown pick, 58 rating. PFF didn't love it. 32 overall grade, 40 passing grade, better than Eason. 2 turnover-worthy plays, 0 big-time throws. First of all, let me throw it out there. Davis Mills will become an all-pro quarterback just because of the Tyrod Taylor curse. But I was kind of lukewarm on him coming out of Stanford. I thought he was fine. He was like a solid day 2 draft prospect. But I didn't agree with what Houston did to take him with their very first pick in the draft, like they did. And he was number 67 overall, something goofy like that. And they immediately trade up for Nico Collins. I didn't agree with that process, but I don't know. I wish him nothing but the best. I hope he slices and dices up a really good Carolina defense. I know they haven't played necessarily the real world beaters and the Jets and the Saints without half their coaching staff. But hey, hopefully Davis Mills is a solid debut. I will be betting Carolina -8 though. Moving on, number 30. We have another quarterback making his debut. This isn't a real debut for Brissett. He's obviously played before, but this is a Dolphins debut. That's some alliteration. I believe Tua will be out week 3, so bring in Jacoby Brissett. And what you do bring in is a guy that was okay last week, 24-40, 169 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, 59 rating. PFF was okay, he's fine. 70 overall, 69.5 passing, 1 big-time throw. That's good. 1 turnover-worthy play. That's bad. He's been a league average to a league above average backup for several years. He was with the Colts, he was with the Patriots for a little bit of time. And he's okay, he's going to be between the 30th best quarterback and the 40th best quarterback in the NFL at any given time. I hate to see Tua get hurt. He would have been a little bit higher than Brissett. Brissett kind of just brings you a low floor, a high floor, low ceiling option. So I wish him the best. The Dolphins play against the Raiders this week in Vegas. Best of luck to Brissett, but I'm not expecting a whole lot. Number 29, we have the 4th of the new quarterbacks, Justin Fields, just like an hour ago announced that he will start week 3. Beyond that, who knows? Because Dalton's injury is who knows. Fields it's been a little rough. Last week, 6 for 13, 60 yards, did throw a pick, 27.7 rating, 51.6 overall grade for PFF, a sub 50 passing grade, 2 big time throws. That's great. 2 turnover worthy plays. That's really bad. The overall season, 54 PFF grade, 49 passing grade. Does have a rushing touchdown though, but his pass rating is still lower than if you just spiked it into the turf every play. So it happens. One thing that I'm excited to see with Field is that rushing ability in the scope of a full game. When you have it in like little spurts, think 2018 Lamar Jackson, when Flacco started, with Taysom Hill, or with any Wildcat, you were kind of selling out that that's going to be a run play. Like Fields is going to come in to run the football. Trey Lance is going to come in to run the football. Lamar is going to come in to run the football because you're not – I mean, they could pass, but you're preparing that play to be a run play. And when they do pass it, it could be incredibly effective, but it's probably a run play. But what Nagy can do now is say, okay, instead of just bringing on Fields and it being probably a run play, they have Fields in the game the entire time, and then their defense doesn't know. The defense has to do a lot of its homework and know, are they likely to run from this set? Are they likely going to pass from this set? Whatever it may be. So it is a nuance. It is a wrinkle. And I don't know if the Browns are going to be fully catch on to it immediately. So I think we could see some fireworks from Fields on the ground and through the air because he does have a great arm and he does have a lot of the great things you look for as a passer. So I'm super excited. He is 29 for now, but we're going to pump the brakes a tiny bit in this ranking, but I'm super excited to see his full NFL debut week 3. Moving on, number 28. Trevor Lawrence. Also, with one note, if you guys don't like the graphics, let me drop a comment, message me and say, hey, Splash, make it all black instead of the teal and gold text. I'm down to change it. Trevor Lawrence is going up +3. That's because there's 4 new quarterbacks. Not much you can really do there. A really poor game against Denver, 40.1 overall, sub 40 passing, 1 big time throw. That's great. 3 turnover worthy plays. Yuck. 6 turnover worthy plays this year, and a sub 50 both overall and passing grade. Last week, 14 of 33. That's under 50%, 118 yards, touchdown, 2 picks, a 37 rating. That's awful. He's completed half of his passes this season, 450 yards, 4 touchdowns, 5 picks, leads the NFL with 5 picks, 57 rating. Hasn't lost a fumble yet, so that's a start. The talent is there with Lawrence, and this is certainly not a predictive thing in the slightest. So he can make the throws. He is making the throws, but I think Lawrence needs to realize that it's not Clemson anymore. NFL, he's not throwing to T. Higgins and Justin Ross compared to like ACC defensive backs. He's throwing DJ Chark and Marvin Jones and Vishka Chenault compared to NFL corners, especially when you're as good as the Broncos have. It was a rough day at the office, but he can bounce back. I'm not selling my Lawrence stock based on the first 2 games, and this is going to be important. Number 27, Zach Wilson. He's up 3 again, like Lawrence, because there were new quarterbacks involved. Last week was horrendous. 19 of 33, 210 yards, 0 touchdowns, 4 picks, a 37 rating. Again, he would have been better off dumping it into the ground every play. 54.4 PFF grade, 49.8 passing grade, 2 big-time throws. That's nice. 2 turnover-worthy plays, not so nice. Overall in the season, he has 3 big-time throws, 5 turnover-worthy plays. The 4 interceptions are going to be the thing we talk about. The 5 total interceptions also lead the NFL. 2 of the interceptions, not really his fault, deflected balls. Maybe the second one he threw was not necessarily the greatest throw ever, and probably would have ended up being picked off, but it was deflected, and there was some ambiguity there. The 3rd and the 4th interceptions were horrendous, and I believe that's where the 2 turnover-worthy plays come in here for PFF. Again, Jets fans, pump the brakes, please. You were a 2-14 team, really close to being an 0-16 team last year. Calm down. Be patient. Just be patient. Zach Wilson's going to be really good. You can see it. Watch the 4th quarter again. He can make some ridiculous throws, and the Jets need to realize they have a bad offensive line, they have a rookie quarterback, and they have inconsistent wide receivers and no tight ends and no running backs. Well, inconsistent running backs. When you realize all of those things and you call a slightly more conservative game plan, I think you're going to have a much better Zach Wilson. And Wilson will create out of structure 100%, but you need to give him a better structure to work within than he currently has. So that's my Wilson take. Number 26, we have Jared Goff, who became Jared Goof. 62.9 overall grade. That's fine. 68.2 passing grade. That's fine. 2 big time throws, 2 turnover worthy plays. He had one, like, the ball just came out of his hand. I don't know what was going on there. It was a wet ball. Peyton explained it was a wet ball, but not so good. On the season, 5 big time throws, 4 turnover worthy plays. Against the Packers, 26 of 36, 246, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, 97.7 rating, and one fumble. There was a botched exchange between Ragnow and Goff. I think it's more on Goff than Ragnow, but when I looked at the stats, ESPN's like, oh, look, one fumble loss. I think it's 2, but that's beside the point. Anyways, he's been really productive this season. He has 5 touchdowns, just the 2 picks, 3 total turnovers, 68.8 percentage, 94.6 pass rating. I think you can work with that. And the 5 big time throws through 2 weeks is nice. That's a solid pace. He's on pace for like 40 big time throws. That's a lot. But I think there are some good things with Goff. I don't think he's a bad quarterback. And I want to throw this out there. Yes, guys will be ranked low in the quarterback rankings. That doesn't mean they're bad. There's just a lot of really good NFL quarterbacks. Jared Goff is a perfectly fine NFL quarterback. Number 25, Ben Roethlisberger. After one of the worst games, I think, of his career, week 1, he bounced back and had a run-of-the-mill good game. 73.8 overall grade, 72.5 passing. 2 big-time throws, 3 turnover-worthy plays, and that manifested itself with real life 27 of 40, 295 yards, a touchdown, a pick, an 87 rating. It was bad week 1. It didn't look like he had any arm talent. Ben can dial it up still. He has some of those like classic throws. It's not going to be every quarter or but he's going to have a couple of them, maybe every couple of weeks. He can still do it. He's a bottom 10 starter, but that's not the end of the world. And like I said with Goff, he's not a bad quarterback. He can make it work. Again, week 1 was ugly, but Aaron Rodgers had an ugly week 1, and he's a lot higher than 25. So yeah, Ben does get the 1 point bonus, 1 point jump, if you will, because guys like Tua are out. Guys like Tyrod Taylor, who was flying up the rankings, is out. I think maybe Andy Dalton might have been higher. I don't know. Anyways, let's move on to number 24. That would be Taylor Heinicke. He's up 8. This is more of a performance jump by 8 than guys like missing, and he jumps by 8. He was very polished against the Giants. 73.4 overall, 75.1 passing, 3 big time throws, 0 turnover-worthy plays. Yes, they don't count his interception as a turnover-worthy play. Why? Because it's not really Heinicke's fault. It's just an unreal play by Bradbury. 34 of 46, 336 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, a 99.5 rating. On the season, he's up over a 100 rating. That's impressive. You love to see that. He didn't have a great week 1 by PFF standards, but hey, it happens. You're playing the Chargers. I like what I see from Heinicke. He plays with a lot of swagger, but it's not a Mahomes, Rodgers, Allen, Lamar, Herbert overconfidence. It's a very much, he knows exactly what he is, and he's going to do that, and he's going to try to ball out while doing that. So I respect Heinicke a lot, and I think he's going to move up a little bit in the coming weeks. Number 23, Jalen Hurts. I included his rushing production because he's an unbelievable runner. Last week, step back against San Francisco, 12 of 23, 190 yards, no touch or a rushing touchdown, no turnovers, though, 80 rating. On the season, he sliced and diced up the Eagles. That was one of the best games of the week. And he does have an 87.5 overall PFF grade on the season and the 1 rushing touchdown. 2 big-time throws last week, just the 1 turnover-worthy play. Progress is being made with Hurts. I'm super excited for him. He had 1 play. He had 1 dot down the sideline. I think his receiver stepped out of bounds, so it didn't count. But it was an unreal throw. Yes, Hurts fell by 3, but again, don't think of that as he sucks. Think of it as other quarterbacks had a bad week 1, had a better week 2. Hurts had an awesome week 1, and then took a tiny step back week 2. So it's like kind of like readjusting the world because Hurts was awesome week 1. Moving on, number 22, we got Jimmy G, and I do want to throw this up to a very particular graphic I'm not changing the graphic, but very particular image. Think of an XY chart, right? XY. So you have PFF grade or how you think the player is doing is further to the right, and how like the stats portray them is further to the top. Jimmy Garoppolo is bumping his head on the top, but he's right smack in the middle of the horizontally. Why? Because he's not playing that well, but it just works in the San Francisco scheme. It works. Everything works with Garoppolo. Garoppolo is not the cause of it working, but it's weird. He has a 62.5 overall grade, 67.7 on the season. He hasn't had a big time throw yet. 2 turnover-worthy plays this week, none last week. And you just kind of think, well, is Garoppolo really? And no, I don't love what Garoppolo does. But the stats are going to say, hey, he's fine. 22 of 30, 189 yards, touchdown, 100 rating. Again, I said that with Hurts. It's good. 111 on the season. That's really good. Nothing to complain about there. It's just, what are you doing with it, right? So moving on, number 21, we have Jameis. Had a big jump week 0, essentially preseason to week 1, then took a big tumble. He doesn't play well against Carolina. I probably should have factored that in. 11 for 22, 111 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 picks, 26.9 rating. Did have a rushing touchdown, so it salvages a little bit. No fumbles lost, that's always a good start. PFF grade of 40.7, a 34.2 passing grade, and PFF wasn't in awe of his 5 touchdowns week 1. I understand it's just 5 touchdowns. The throws themselves weren't great, and he only had 1 big time throw last week. The throws themselves weren't great. The stats were, but yeah, pump the brakes a little bit there. 66.8 overall grade. That's fine. 56.3 passing is not fine. 2 big time throws. All 3 of his turnover-worthy plays came last week. Just Winston's going to be, I think he's going to be fine, but he does have this volatility that if week 1, you're going to look great and he's going to be up to 16 in the power rankings, and then the next week he's going to be awful. And he was pretty terrible against Carolina. Big props to the Carolina defense, but Jameis was just off. Number 20, we're staying in the NFC South. Matt Ryan, -2 this week. 35 of 46, 300 yards, 2 tutties, 3 picks. 2 of them became touchdowns. A courtesy of Team of the Week player Mike Edwards. If you want to see the Team of the Week, go to the previous video. 80 point, a flat 80 rating, no fumbles lost. On the season, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, 76 rating. It's okay. There were a couple batted interceptions against the Bucs, so it happens. And the pick 6 itself, the 2 pick sixes itself, both were, I believe, batted up in the air, and then Mike Edwards catches it and scores. It's not Ryan's fault. They were touchdowns. Overall average, 65.9 overall, 66.4 passing, 1 big time throw. That's good. 1 turnover-worthy play. That's bad. A 63.9 overall grade, a 63.8 passing grade. It's Matt Ryan. What are you going to do? Number 19, we have one of the biggest risers. Sam Darnold, I was very outspoken, said he will start the season as QB 32. He has not played like QB 32. He has played like I don't want to say top 10 quarterback, because I don't think he's been that unreal, but he's been a lot better than I thought he would. So big shout out to Sam Darnold, or not even better than I thought he would, better than he was coming into the season. That's what it is. So congratulations. Sam Darnold is a real NFL quarterback. Last week, 26 of 38, 305 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, 99 rating, 73.3 PFF grade, 69.9 passing. That's fine. On the season, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, has a rushing touchdown and a fumble lost. So a 100 rating for Sam Darnold, and he has more big-time throws than turnover-worthy plays. He's never done that in his NFL career, so big props there. 77.4 pass rating is nothing to be ashamed of. Number 18, we got the Mac attack. Mac Jones, -1 this week. Just a quiet run-of-the-mill. 22 of 30, 186 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Did lose a fumble, 89 flat rating. Week 2, subpar by PFF standards, 58.5 overall, 58.6 passing, 1 big-time throw, 2 turnover-worthy plays, a 71.2 overall grade for the season, a 70.2 passing grade, 5 big-time throws. He had 4 week 1, which is crazy, 3 turnover-worthy plays, a 96.7 rating on the season. I think with Jones, you're limited, but I think it's like a solid floor because he doesn't make mistakes. He does have the 3 turnover-worthy plays, but I think a lot of those are fumbles, if I remember correctly. So if he's not getting hit, he's not putting the ball in harm's way. So that's good. And honestly, that's a lot better than some of the quarterbacks higher up in the list that you're going to say are elite quarterbacks, because for some teams, they just value, and for me, honestly, I think Mac is probably too high here, but I will say that I do value not turning the ball over, and that's one reason why I had Sam Darnold so low, and now he's moving up because he's bringing some value, and that's one reason why I have Mac Jones here. Talent-wise, he's not a top 20 quarterback, but he's not going to turn the ball over like a lot of the guys in the top 20 will. Speaking of not turning the ball over, number 17, Teddy Bridgewater. No turnovers so far this season. Has a 120 rating. Really balled out against Jacksonville. 26 for 34, 328 yards, 2 touchdowns, 125 rating. PFF was like, okay, Teddy, we're rocking with you. 69.2 overall, 68.4 passing. 2 big-time throws, 0 turnover with he plays. Love to see that. And overall, 85.7 and an 84.9 passing grade on the season. Just shy of 600 yards, 4 touchdowns. 77 completion percentage. Love to see it. Again, Teddy, like Mac Jones, is not going to make all sorts of big time throws, literally. He's going to have some, but he's not going to like hit dudes 30 yards downfield. It has to be kind of dialed up for Teddy and Mac, but you know what? That's okay. He's not going to make many mistakes, and with Denver, they're going to win a lot of games because of it. Number 16, Danny frickin' Dimes, Daniel Jones. Hello, 91.3 overall grade last week, 90.7 passing. And I want you to direct your attention to the bottom left. 22 of 32, 249 yards, touchdown, no picks, 102.2 rating, 1 rush touchdown, 1 fumble lost. That should have been a lot more yards and an extra touchdown. He should have had 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had a dime to Darius Slayton, and Slayton's like, oh, and it just didn't exist that day. 2 big-time throws, that's huge. And one thing for Jones, the no turnover-worthy plays, that saved him in this game. Just great. 83.8 overall, 85.4 passing. Big steps for Daniel Jones. He and Darnold just continue to rise up the rankings, and I love to see it. Jones is incredibly exciting to watch. You get some of that rushing production. He has 2 rushing touchdowns on the season, and he has a rocket launcher of an arm. Number 15, we got Joe Burrow. I'm going to address the interceptions first. 19 of 30, 207 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks, 66 rating. 3 picks on 3 straight plays. One of them was a pick 6. One of them was by Jalen Johnson, and the other, I don't remember exactly what happened, but it was another pick. 2 of those are on him. The other one, I don't believe was on him. So PFF's like, okay, 66.6 overall grade. That's Satan grade. 65.6 passing. 0 big-time throws. 2 turnover-worthy plays on the season. He's a 1-to-3 ratio. Not great, but I think you get a little bit of Mac and you get a little bit of Teddy here that – in general, the goal is to not make mistakes, and he's going to hit the throw when you scheme it up for him. He's hit Jamar Chase on 2 beautiful deep balls. The one last week was beautiful. This week, I think it was just like a deep touchdown. Either way, Burrow has kind of fixed some of his wrongs from last year with the deep ball. He hasn't been quite as good as he was in other aspects of his game, but I think he's fine. He is -1 this week. But overall, I think you're getting a good, solid quarterback in Joe Burrow. Number 14, Ryan Tannehill. This is a tiny bit unfair. He is a -1, but some other people are rising really high in the rankings. He was really, really, really good. I think he was PFF's quarterback. No, Daniel Jones was PFF's quarterback of the week. Tannehill was not far behind. 27 of 40, 347 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 picks. Did lose a fumble, 94.5 rating. But Julio Jones probably scores, and you're inching up 380 yards. Touchdown. Yeah, that's why he has 4 big-time throws, 0 turnover-worthy plays. Incredibly impressive. I'm not going to totally ignore what he did last week with the 3 turnovers, but he was awesome this week, and he has one more week like that. He's going to be right back in the top 10 discussion. Number 13, everyone's favorite quarterback, Kirk Cousins, 22 to 32, 244 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 picks for a 122.4 rating. And yes, folks, that means in the last season – plus 2 games, Kirk Cousins is 17 of 18 with 90-plus passer rating games. No one else in the NFL has done that. 17 of 18. He has 1 bad game. He had 3 picks against, was it Philly? Like week 2 or week 3? Week 2 last year, he sucked at a 15.9 rating. Other than that, he's been pretty solid rating-wise. PFF's like, cool. 82.9 overall, 77.2 passing, 2 big-time throws. That's lovely. 1 turnover-worthy play. It happens. and he has a good 85.9 on the season, 3 big-time throws, 1 turnover-worthy play, a 113 rating on the season. He's working with it. Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. Number 12, we have Justin Herbert -1, and this is where I think I differ on some people, because you see the turnover-worthy plays, you see some of the dumb interceptions, you see the red zone interceptions, and you think to yourself, why are you doing this? Why are you hitting the self-destruct button? Herbert has unreal talent. He is a top 5 talent at the quarterback position in the NFL, and some people will weight that higher, and I respect that. But I'm going to see the 3 turnover-worthy plays, and I'm going to see the 5-to-4 ratio on the season, and I'm going to see the 4 total turnovers, and think I'm going to pump the brakes a little bit. He's an unbelievable talent, and I'm going to say that a million times, but that does not mean he is elite yet. 64.6 overall grade, 64.8 passing grade. The stats are off the charts. 31 of 41, 338 yards, touchdown, 2 picks though, 87 rating. The man has a howitzer of an arm. He was making some ridiculous throws against Dallas, but please put it together. Number 11, Matthew Stafford. He's down 2, but this kind of proved, I don't want to say I was right, but if you pump the brakes with Stafford, if you have real expectations for Stafford, he's probably going to undershoot. But if you say, okay, Stafford is going to be elevated by McVay, he's still going to have some of the boneheaded plays, he's still going to have some of the big throws anyways, but he's going to I think of it like an elevator. So Matt Stafford has a ceiling that's pretty good and a floor that's not so good. Sean McVay elevates the elevator, right? So Stafford now, when he does good things, is going to look even better. When he does bad things, he's not going to look quite as bad. But he's still going to have some of those moments. He didn't have a big-time throw against Indy. He had just the 1 turnover-worthy play, though. Overall, he had a solid game. I don't love it. The interception wasn't very good. 19 of 30, 270 yards, 2 touchdowns, pick, 108 or 101.8 rating. On the season, he's at 127, which is really, really good. On the season, 3-1 big-time throw to turnover-worthy play. I'll take it. And he's above 80 in both overall grade and passing grade. Number 10, Baker, touchdown maker. Baker Mayfield had the bad interception, then got whacked, and then decided, I'm just not going to throw any more incompletions. Outside of the interception, 19 of 20, 213 yards, touchdown. Added a rushing touchdown as well. 105 rating on the season. He's a 101.9 despite the 2 picks. And I think Baker is -2 this week, but I think you got to start putting some respect on Baker's name. And he's not playing with Odell. He's not playing with Jarvis Landry for the time being. Odell should be back this week, though. So just the 1 big-time throw, 2 turnover-worthy plays. I think you're trending in the right direction, though. And over the last 2 months, or last month and a half of last season, plus the playoffs, he had been unreal. Josh Allen, -3. Yes, the Bills won by 35. They should have won by more, really. 17 of 33, 179, 2 touchdowns, a pick, 75 rating, a 53.7 overall grade, a 45.4 passing grade, 2 big-time throws. That's cool. 3 turnover-worthy plays. It is not the move. And Allen, I don't want to say he's regressed to 2018, 2019 form, but he is not accurate with the football anymore. I'm pumping the brakes. He's still at 9. I think he can turn it around. We saw it last year. He was awesome, but something mechanically is just off through 2 weeks. I hope he figures it out. He has a sub 60 PFF passing grade right now. Hopefully he figures it out. Kyler. This is one I'm going to get some pushback for, but I would like to point out the turnover-worthy plays. I would like to point out the interceptions. I get everything positive you can say about Kyler. I echo that. I think he is incredibly talented. I would take him number 1 overall in the history of the NFL in a prospect draft. But calm down, please. 9 big-time throws in 2 weeks. That's unreal. 2 turnover-worthy plays can clean up a little bit. He had 400 passing yards against Minnesota, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, 117.6 rating, 1 rushing touchdown too. So he has 9 total touchdowns, 7 passing, 2 rushing so far, 121 rating. That's awesome. Nothing to complain about there. But bad interception to Nick Vigil. Nick Vigil, unreal play. He made my team of the week as well. And this week was just a good game from Kyler. I think the tape says good game. He had some ridiculous throws. Yes, he had that one. Yeah, that one back foot like bomb on 4th and 5, that was unreal. There's not many quarterbacks in the NFL history, let alone now, can do that. I agree with that. I totally agree with that. Just pump the brakes a little bit. Being the 8th best quarterback in the most talented era of quarterbacks ever, impressive. Number 7, Derek Carr, one of the other high risers. Derek Carr haters, what are you doing, please? 28 of 37, 382, 2 touchdowns, 0 picks, 126.2 rating on the season, 817 yards, 4 touchdowns. The one pick that went off of through Willie Seed's hands, so it probably should have been a touchdown. Raiders off of Deshaun Elliott's head and then into the arms of off of a Ravens helmet and then into another Ravens hands. That's one of the most unfortunate interceptions ever, and that sadly drags down his rating. Last week, Gunslinger, 81.3 rating, 81.6 passing grade, 5 big-time throws, 2 turnover-worthy plays. But yes, the turnover-worthy plays are more, but there's some nuance here that some turnover-worthy plays are different than others. And the Kyler to Nick Vigil pick 6 is just a catastrophe, while some of Carr's turnover-worthy plays are like fumbles that you technically, yeah, that's a pretty solid negative, but they're not a -2, like a fundamental -2. So there is some pushback there. I get it. Carr might regress when those turnovers get a little bit bigger, but hey, it happens. 81 overall grade, 82.5 passing grade, 9 big time throws, tied with Kyler for the most, 4 turnover-worthy plays. You got to clean it up. Yeah. So let's move on to number 6. We got the flip, Lamar Jackson himself. The passing grade is a tiny bit misleading because after the first quarter, I thought he was unreal. First quarter, he was terrible. First interception, not necessarily his fault. Second interception, entirely his fault. Why are you throwing that ball, Lamar? But let's take a look at the stats. 18 to 26, 239 yards, 1 pass touchdown, 2 interceptions, 78 rating. This is actually identical to what he usually does against the Chiefs. 107 rush yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 fumbles lost. And shout out to Lamar for breaking my graphic because I had to figure out how to put rush yards, and I just put 193 rush. That's fine. 73 overall grade, 58.6 passing. Again, he wasn't great, but a lot of that came in the first quarter. Second through fourth, he was unreal. 86 rushing grade. Again, unreal. 0 big time throws. Okay, 2 turnover-worthy plays. The one I can't find the other one. But yeah, the interception, the second interception to Matthew was just ugly. So a 70.1 overall, 62.3 passing, and then 86.2 rushing. 2 big time throws, 4 turnover-worthy plays on the season. What more do you want out of a quarterback? Turnover-worthy plays, I think you can get rid of some, but historically Lamar is very cognizant of the football, and I believe only 2 of those are through the air. So through the air, he just doesn't throw many interceptions. I know he threw 2 the other night, but one was his receiver fell down, and the other one was just a horrendous decision. So I don't think Lamar's going to throw too many more interceptions. Big time throws, hard to come by at times. But I think the Ravens did crack something. And if Lamar has a 73, a 58, and an 86 every week, I think the Ravens can win a lot of games. Number 5, Dak Prescott. No big time throws, so a little disappointing there. Just a kind of run-of-the-mill game. 63.6 overall, 64.9 passing. 23 of 27, 237 yards. Did throw a pick. 87.8 rating. Was it Derwin? No, it was Asante Samuel. Just sailed it. Samuel got it. Great play by, not necessarily a great play by Samuel, but he's there, catches the interception. Dak, 75 flat grade for the season, 76.6 passing grade on the season, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, 76.4 percentage, 640 passing yards. He's racking them up. Derek Carr is way out ahead of everybody, but Dak is one of the guys that you think is going to catch him. Again, if you'd like to complain about the font, I'm open to it. I can change it. That's perfectly fine. It's my first week of making graphics. Number 4, we got Thomas Edward Brady. Staying at 4, he was my team of the week quarterback, though. 276 yards, 5 touchdowns, completed 2/3 of his passes, 129.2 rating. Did lose a fumble, though. This week, 5 big-time throws. That's impressive. An 84.9 overall grade, 82.3 passing grade. And the PFF overall and passing grade, they speak for themselves. 93 overall, 92 passing, 8 big-time throws, 0 turnover-worthy plays. And that's why he's here. That's why he's here. He's 3rd in the NFL in big-time throws, and he hasn't had a turnover-worthy play yet. Yes, he has the interceptions, but remember, one was at the end of the half, and one was off a deflection. 9 total touchdowns, does have a fumble loss, a 113.3 rating. That's impressive. And guess what? He's going to break the all-time passing yards record in 2 weeks against the Patriots in New England, in Foxborough. Aaron Rodgers is back. He didn't have to be elite Aaron Rodgers. He just had to be good Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers was back. He fell from number 1 to number 3 because he was awful in week 1. And he came back. 22-27, 255 yards, 4 touchdowns, 145.6 rating, 70.6 overall grade, 73.2 passing grade, 2 big-time throws, 1 turnover-worthy play. Nothing to complain about there. On the season, he had a bad week 1, so that's going to skew all of his numbers down for now. So I don't want to touch on the season stuff because that's going to be skewed because he was really bad week 1, uncharacteristically bad week 1. So Rodgers is back. He had some of the most special throws of the week. He had one that he dropped in the bucket, like 40 yards to Devontae Adams, and then he had one that whizzed by the ear hairs of a linebacker. Let's get into the top 2. And that was, you see who number 1 is. Here's number 2. Russell Wilson stays at number 2. He was pretty awesome again. 22 of 31, 343 yards, 2 touchdowns, 128.8 rating, 74.5 overall grade, 73.9 passing grade, 2 big-time throws, 0 turnover-worthy plays as an 80.1 overall grade, 80.8 season grade, 5 big-time throws, 0 turnover-worthy plays, 74.1% complete, almost 600 yards, 6 tutties, and a 147 rating. Russell Wilson has been balling out, really accurate with the deep ball, as always. And number 1, Patrick Mahomes. Now, I will say Patrick Mahomes wasn't very good on Sunday night. The stats, 24-31, 343 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. He had a 131 rating. This is why pass rating doesn't matter sometimes. You have to have context with it. Like, I'll use it when I know what it's describing. But I think if you wanted to talk about Mahomes' game against the Ravens, you're talking about the yards after catch that Kelsey had and the yards after catch that not Robinson, he had the deep ball. Pringle and Kelsey had like huge plays, and Mahomes wasn't the catalyst. He didn't play particularly well. A 2 turnover plays. He had a pick, had a fumble lost. No, Edwards-Helaire had a fumble lost. Had 2 turnover plays. The one, I don't recall what exactly it was, but he did have one that he just kind of Jameis Winston style, just like tossed, just trying to make a play. I get it, and it ended up in a Ravens hand. On the season, he's been unreal. 6 touchdowns, a 131.4 rating, but I would pump the brakes a tiny bit. He didn't play very well against Baltimore. I know he had 343 yards. But how much of that was Travis Kelce doing Travis Kelce things or Pringle doing Pringle things? Like he was taking what the defense gave him. He wasn't the one forcing the issue. And even he had one awesome, I thought it was an awesome throw to Demarcus Robinson, but that's great coverage by Humphrey. And that play can be picked or deflected any number of times. It's just an unreal play by Robinson. So with that said, that'll wrap us up for my week 2 quarterback power rankings. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell, and drop a comment if you think I screwed up. You know, if you think Patrick Mahomes is the 8th best quarterback in the NFL, make sure you sound off in the comments. And with that said, folks,